Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Height Sports Podcast. I'm Alec, Greaney alongside Michael Sullivan and our new addition, Tom DeVoto. Would you like to say hi, Tom?
Hello everybody, it's good to be here. I'm a long-time listener of the show, first time on-air guest, so really excited to get going.
So as you can see, we're going to be sharing a mic today. We only have 2, so we're just going to figure out how this goes. But we're here to bring to you BC football versus UMass coverage. They're going to be playing at Gillette tomorrow. So we're going to give you a little bit of a game preview. Sully, do you want to start out with a few opening thoughts?
Yeah, well, Massachusetts is having a rough transition since going from FCS to Division I, and now from Division I, now they're moved away from the Mid-American Conference, and they're becoming an independent in Week 1. They broke in a new offense. They lost starting quarterback Blake Fronapple, who had a lot of success under Mark Whipple at UMass. They lost Tajay Sharp, who was their number 1 receiver, one of the best receivers in the nation, and now he's going to be the number 1 receiver at Tennessee. So they've got a lot of influx coming here. Last week they gave a run for their money to Florida down in Gainesville. It was pretty tight throughout. The game ended up being 24-7. UMass's defense ended up collapsing at the end against the Florida offense that's not supposed to be that great, and with quarterback Luke Del Rio, they kind of saw that the Gators did, but the UMass offense also had a lot of trouble going. They're bringing in a young quarterback, Ross Combs. Not positive on the pronunciation, but that's his name. They have Marquise Young, who's their freshman running back last year, now sophomore. Had an okay game. He had 55 yards or so. Last year, he rushed for about 800, 900. So he's a strong person on that offense. They still are trying to find who's going to be their new wide receiver. Andy Isabella had 3 catches for 95 yards, so he could be a potential option. But overall, UMass is a team that's really in flux right now.
So what does BC need to do coming out tomorrow?
Well, the BC defense has to be as strong as it was in the first 3 quarters, for really the first 55 minutes of the game against Georgia Tech. The front 7 has to be swarming around an offensive line that's not going to really be prepared to go up against not only an ACC defensive line, but the best ACC defensive line, or perhaps one of the best in the country. The offense is going to have to at least it's probably going to have to put up bigger numbers than you would want to expect against an ACC opponent. You know, 14 points against Georgia Tech wasn't great. Of course, we saw them drive down the field decently. They were able to get to field goal range twice. Of course, we know they missed those. But they're going to be able, they have to be able to put up at least like 28 points, 31 points to actually prove that they are going to be competitive in the ACC going forward. So it's not really a matter of just beating a team. It's a matter of blowing out a team. And it's something that Stevie Dazio hasn't done at BC since Syracuse on Thanksgiving weekend back in 2014 when they had an overall domination of that team 28-7. So I think this is an important week for BC on offense to really show that they are head and shoulders above UMass, which they are defensively, even despite all the struggles last season and the kinks they're still working out. It's a better team overall, and it's certainly a better team than UMass, and the defense doesn't really have to make any adjustments except in the secondary. You know, it's a weaker opponent. I'm sure they've worked hard this week. I know they worked hard a lot this week. They got to just make sure that they don't give up the deep balls on 3rd and 4th and long.
So this has been a run-heavy Adazio team forever, pretty much. Mm-hmm. Will we see Tolles and these new receiving core come out and do anything right away, or are we going to see a lot of John Hillman come out at first?
I think we should see a lot of Tolles passing practice. I know it last year. Steve didn't really give that practice to Darius Wade in the FCS games against Maine and Howard. You know, they didn't really have to play much against Howard because they had a short field pretty much the whole time. But against Maine, he got 24. Darius got 24 attempts. Now I think we should see somewhere around 30 attempts from this offense because I feel like they're going to get around 50, 55 plays. Last time they had 54, and the split was 37 rushes, 17 passes. So I think we got to get somewhere between in the 26 range overall. It would be a good opportunity to get him some passing practice or to effectively run the play action. You know, and when it comes to the running game and Hillman, if you take out that 73-yard touchdown run, Hillman only had 29 yards on about 16 carries or so. So I don't think it's a negative if they run the ball a lot with John. I just think that now would be a good opportunity to work out kinks in the passing game, especially because they have a rough game next week at Lane Stadium against Virginia Tech.
Tom, we have brought in today for our resident fan expert. Can we have your thoughts today on what to expect from UMass on that side of the ball?
One thing I don't expect is for them to make the same mistake they did in 2014 and have the entire student section rush the field with the team, which was cool for like 10 seconds, and then it was just a disaster because they were on the field, delayed kickoff, end of the first quarter, they're still filing back into their seats, and it really backfired on them. I don't think they're going to make that mistake again, because if they did, they'd be stupid. But, yeah, I mean, they'll have something up their sleeve. You know UMass, it's Battle of the Bay State. This is a big one for them.
So we're going to be heading to Gillette tomorrow. Full sports team going?
Yeah, the full sports team is going. Myself at Michael J. Sully, Annabelle Steele, and Riley Overend at Steele Heights, at Riley Heights. Make sure to follow along, as well as our 2 photographers. Remember, tomorrow at Gillette, parking is free. So be sure to get there early. It'll be
tailgates.
It's great. Tailgates are, of course, open. Do make sure, very important, do make sure you check Gillette Stadium's bag rules. It's not the same as it would be.
We did get that in email.
Yeah.
What don't they allow? Let's tell our listeners what to expect.
Clear bags only.
Clear bags only, kind of no bigger than a shopping bag that you would get at the grocery store. You can only have, like, not full purses, but, like, hand purses. And then, so, moral of the story, just leave whatever.
Leave your
you
hand
have.
purses at home.
Leave everything in the car. Like, there's just no reason to bring, you don't have to bring anything.
Wait, can you
in.
bring your hand purse in?
You can.
You can bring your hand
but,
purse
like, it would be small. So, just leave what you don't need in the car, which is pretty much anything. You really don't need it.
Just bring yourselves.
Yeah.
It'll be a great time.
Yeah, I'll be going there by bus, so I don't have to worry about that, although free parking sounds great. I believe you're driving.
The roommates and I will be driving up. We're leaving bright and early at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Yeah, we'll plenty of food. Once I figure out our parking location, I'll send out a tweet. Anybody who's listening, feel free to stop by. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, anytime.
Anytime at all, really.
Love that about Tom. So that pretty much is a wrap. Do we have any final thoughts?
How about a game score prediction?
Ooh.
Tom, you want to go first?
I think I said some preseason. I said something like 27-10 or something like that. I'm going to change it. After last week, I think BC will come out mad, and they always play great against teams they are vastly superior to. So I will say they win 35-6.
I'm going to take the opposite approach. I had them about 35-13 going into it. I think it's going to be, I think about 13 or 10 points for UMass. I think they're going to score a little less. I'm expecting a 24-10 result. I don't think that they're going to really come out and try to offensively explode. I just don't expect that from this team at this moment. But they will make significant strides in offense. So 24-10 BC.
So I was probably the most pessimistic Heights picker at the beginning of the year. I actually liked what I saw in Saturday's game other than the result. I'm probably going to go somewhere, we're going to go 35-17. I don't expect any field goals after what we saw last week, but I think the touchdowns are going to come. So that's pretty much all we have from episode 4. Feel free to tune in after the game. We're going to have a recap coming to you Sunday?
Yes, Sunday.
Sunday. So tune in to see the result of that game. Have a good one.